I drew it thinking, oh, Klaus is doing it, it's going to be great. It was so I built Sienkiewicz inked it, and they phoned me up and were just like, really sorry about this, but Bill's inked the job. And I go, yeah. So I look like, well, he looks like Bill. Great. Yeah. There's a few British artists that I know that we swap pages with, because it's one of these things like, you know, well, that's great. And there's a British artist called Jock. He mainly works in film design now, storyboard. He's working on the Judge Dredd boy, just finished with the Judge Dredd film, and he's been working on the new Batman film. And I've never got Jock to swap pages with me until I got inked by Bill Sienkiewicz. Yeah, Mike, you know anything about swapping pages? You want a page of Batman, don't you? Yeah. So, I don't mind, I got a page of Jock out of it, so that was good.
Okay, you want to take over for a while?
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about what I've been doing?
Yes, you could talk a little bit about doing some while I start drawing.
Okay.
And I remember, I think I remember asking, talk about what kind of equipment do you use, and suddenly we got history of inking.
Okay. I'll go on. You can start there. I'll go on about what equipment I use. Yep. I use a multitude of equipment. Primarily, I use a brush. Primarily a #1 Raphael. I find that Raphael brushes, even though they're a bit more expensive, they hold the end a lot better. They hold the ink a lot better, and therefore you can use them for a long time without dipping again. Also, very rarely I will use a dip pen with a metal nib on. And so sometimes I use those if I want a scratchier style. If I'm drawing trees or something like that, I usually use my dip pen and really get into the paper, scratch it on. And most of the times if I'm using a dip pen, you can actually feel the tree on the page. I'll use a lot of grey tone on my work, which basically comes down to me inking and then seeing the colour of my water. I'll use that as the grey wash, and I can utilise that to do backgrounds. I can shoot things into the background using the grey wash, and I like my pages to look like pieces of artwork, so that everything is on there. A lot of people keep things open for the colourists to do. I like my pages to be black and white. I grew up in a black and white environment in British comics, so I like to utilise the black and white. I like my pages to look black and white. So I will use ink wash. I'll use black pencils, very softly. I'll use grey pencils, and I will use Prismacolor pencils, which give a rougher feel. It's more kind of almost like an oil-based pencil. I don't always use these for every page. It just depends on the texture and the effect. Then sometimes I'll go back in. Sometimes I use just marker pens, Staedtler marker pens as well. And also, I'll go back in with whiteout, Tipex whiteout. If I want a particular effect, such as rain, I will also go in with a scalpel blade and just scratch the artwork off the page. And it really breaks up the line and gives you a great rain effect.
When you do that, do you use the cycle in your head?
I do that whenever I'm drawing. And so I will also use different things. I will use sponges. Sponges are great for trees. If you want a particular effect for trees, just stick it in a rough sponge, not like a sponge you buy in for 90 pence. Just get a proper organic sponge and just rip it, and then you can use it as great for trees. I will use old socks. Terry Towling socks are usually the best ones. They're fantastic. Seriously, they're fantastic for doing background detail. If you want a particularly atmospheric background, use your socks. Brilliant. That's my material. Oh, this is highly recommendable for those who are travelling with ink. I will use Winsor & Newton ink, by the way, because it gives a solid black. But you can also add water to it, and it's still pretty solid. A lot of the inks, when you use your rubber eraser, I never know what to say now, because in America, when I was working at Crossgen, I would often say, "Hey Butch, can I use a rubber?" which actually means a condom in America. So that was always a very strange conversation. But anyway, so if you are ever flying with ink, put them in a plastic bag, because once I flew to Canada, and it was in my luggage, just like in here without the plastic bag, and of course the pressure in the plane made the ink expand and all over my clothes. So a plastic bag is highly recommended if you're ever flying with ink. That's my descriptions of equipment.
I will start talking so you can actually try to catch up with Mike now.
Step on there, I'll talk.
I can talk just briefly before you take over. What I want to say is the things they are now inking is a Wolverine sketch or pencil drawing, and that's actually made by one in the audience. Give a round of applause for Chris Christensen for handing in these sketches that they are inking now. And then Mike Collins can start talking.
You can start talking about what you're doing there. Yeah.
Or I could just hold it. Hello.
He's shaving with it.
Why is it?
It's your face better, man.
Okay, now it's ready.
Think of the camera. Think of
Oh,
the
it might be
camera.
this. Yeah. Push out.
Ah.